got out my big box of reels of coloured wire. And if you saw my last video, you'll know exactly what the plan is for today. Hi, I'm Warren Brand and welcome to another Linleys video. Okay, so today's project is the cable bundle construction that will include the control system cables and the track feed cable for the track section that goes from just before the complicated junction here all the way through the Up Suburban to include the end of platform signal and just a little bit of more control stuff beyond, but that section. And in the last video I concluded by just measuring the details that I've needed, and I've done a load of design work in the meantime. There's a few steps to making these cable bundles, but before I dive in, I'd like to cover off a point that people have asked me about in the past. Why do I actually make these cable bundles? Or why not just use multi-core cable, either kind of networking cable, Cat5, Cat6, external quality and all of that? Yeah, fair points. My answer to that is each cable bundle has its own bespoke design. So along the cable there are spur wires that are coming off to sensors, to the signals, to inputs, controls and outputs, and in fact the track power needs a larger cable diameter anyway. So it's not practical to use a multi-core cable for the complete length. I need to really make my own, and hey, I like making them, although I've got lots to do, so it's not a problem. So here we go with sort of stage one. I use a core nylon, I think that's nylon string or cord, I don't know what that is, like 3 mil cord, taut down the centre, and I set up this tension point here, and I just draw off the length of core that I need for the whole cable bundle. First thing to do along this string is mark off the positions of the branches from the core. So this position here, 3800, is where the side spur feed from the signal box will come in and join the groove in the trackway. It's really difficult to explain. I'll just go over to the track and explain that in a moment. Let's just get this point marked there. So that, I marked that in red because that I just know that that's my first main thing. So 3800, that's the spur off to the signal box. Right, so the next position point I mark is where the signal is, because the signal is a key benchmark reference point as well. 6800. Now that's actually from the red marker. My tape's not long enough to do the whole complete measurement, so I've clipped the end of the tape to where the red mark is. So this is an ongoing 6800, just about there, and I'll mark that green, yellow, red. So that little tag point here is where the signal will be at the end of a little spur of cable. Now beyond, there's one more sensor, track sensor, which I need to mark, and that will be the end of this cable bundle. Yeah, so this is what I've done so far. It's a bit coded on this sheet. I know what these terms mean. It'll become clear down the line as we go. So this is the first mark that I put on the string length. This was the red marker, and I've just measured 6800 forwards along this string to the signal point. The signal point will spur off at the point there. I'd already measured the 3800 tail to get to the red mark. So that's the red mark, that's the yellow mark. I've still got a further 3750 to go to the train out of section sensor. So then that will be the end of the cable bundle. So a further 3750 to measure. There we are. That's it, 3750. So that point there is where the train out of section marker is, TOOS, and that's the fifth train detection point along this section, fifth and last. Well, there we are. That's the first cable bundle core string setup. It's quite long, isn't it? I did say it was the shorter of the lot, but it is. The one that goes around the back of the shed is probably half as much again, but there we are. So the next thing is I'm going to cut the end there, so it's off the spool, and lay it out along the line. My dimensions are pretty accurate really, but it's nice to know that it's absolutely pucker. I've laid the string down with the markers in place. All is good. Let's just have a quick check now together. So that's where the little red tag is. That indicates where the spur goes off, through underground, into the little junction point here, and then through big conduit underneath the ground, up, and into the big junction box just there. You might be wondering what the heck's going on with all this control system stuff. If you're not sure what my DLC control system is, do take a look at the playlist regarding that. It's quite complex. Quite a lot of it I've explained. I've got more to explain as well. So that's the first bit. That's the tail off to the control box. Let's follow it along the track bed just to make sure that it's perfect at the other end as well. So that's where the little red tag is. Perfect position there. The core string then follows the cable groove all the way through the platform, sort of in line with the groove, and the next point of reference is this yellow tag, which is perfectly in line for the end of the platform. So that's where the signal spur will come off, and I'll have about 200-300 mil of spare cable there to get to wherever the signal is. Might need another little groove, we'll see. So that's the next point, and then final point then is the train outer section detector, which is around the corner. So here we go, ongoing all the way round to the last point on this cable bundle, which is just up here, and that is the train out of section detector point. So I've got the full length of this cable bundle, but I haven't included all of the little spur off points. Need to do that next. So let's do a guided tour of the core string of this cable bundle. Right, so this end with the loop is the end, the tail end, which will go up into the signal box control panel. So that's that, and I've measured correctly and checked. So the next point down the string is the red marker, which is where this cable bundle will pop up to surface from the underground ducting to the groove along the trackway. Right, new points now. Here is the train in section detection point. First point. All the way along, follow me. Next point is the train arriving detection point. The next is where the track feed, the track power feed will arrive to the track. So I've marked that, that's in black, this one. Here we go, next one is the train final approach detector point. And we've got the train waiting, which is the final detection point just prior to the signal position. And then we have the signal position, so that's correct. And right the way along here, which is right around the curve, is the train out of section detection. And that then forms the end of this track section block completely. Then, so we've got the track power feed tick. We've got the link off to the signals, the 3 colour light signals or semaphore, whichever I decide I'm going to put in. Correct. We've got the 5 train detection points. Done. That's it for this cable bundle. Well, a bit of string with label tags is no blinking use, is it, on its own? So now what I've got to do, which is the second part, is to add the cables wrapped around the core string. So here goes. First wire here is one of the 2 track power feed cables. So I need 2 of these, one for one rail, obviously one for the other. Just do a simple knot on this loop and draw this down. The process is not high tech or anything. I just unravel and do an occasional twist around the core string. So here we are, this is the black tag. So this cable, this wire, will come off the side at this point of the groove, and I just then need about 200 to 300 mil spare so that I can work that towards the track, solder that on. So cut that there and temporarily stop that unraveling. Just put that, sun's come out, on there like that, and then that will come off the side and solder onto the track. And there we are, as if by magic, power of video editing, we now have 2 wires for the track feed coming off this point here. Next, I'm going to install the cables for the colour light signals. Now, positive high to turn the signals on, so I need a negative return, which will be blue, and then obviously a wire for the red, wire for the yellow, and a wire for the green. Now the white here I don't need for this particular cable bundle, but the white is for the turn indicator, but not this time. So I'm just going to do the 4, blue return and positive high for the 3 colours. Same trick as the power wires that I've already put in. I know they're on a stick here, but I do one at a time, so I'll start with the blue. Blue done, red next. And the yellow one. And the last colour light signal feed this time, the green. That's the little side chute that will go to the signal point. There's about 300 mil there, so I've got ample. And it's actually just a little bit further than the break-off point, so I need to bring that back slightly. I'll wrap those up, make them tidy. Okay, so that's nice and tidy. Right off at the right place, and ample there, kept out the way. So there we are. That's what we've got so far in our little cable bundle. 2 track power feeds, and 4 supplies to the colour light signal. But more to do though. I've got the 5 train position sensors to install next. Doing okay? Time for coffee though. Next up is 5 runs of grey and 1 run of brown, although I need to keep splicing in and make junctions of the brown. I'll show you as I go. So 5 of these. First one all the way down to the end, which is the train out of section train detector. Same old technique, round and round and round. Not sure how much more I've got left on this drum. I've got another drum anyway, a bigger one actually. Next one, I've done 2 so far, 3rd one to go. Yeah, last one, just enough to do that slightly shorter run. New drum, a bit bigger to handle twisting around. So that's 3 done, 2 to go. And they get shorter, just. Yep. 4 done, 1 to go. Shortest one, this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. So all 5 of the track sensor return circuits are now done. I've now got the power feed for each of the track circuits. Now I daisy chain a standard 5 volt feed with a joint along the way, so I'll solder those joints up. So now I work forwards, not backwards in length, forwards to each of the terminal points. Here we go. And this is the last wire now to wrap. So this is the first sensor along the track route, train in section. This is the return, the grey one's the return wire, and the brown is a 5 volt feed that comes forward along from the top end of the cable bundle, and that's this one. Goes up, but at the moment all I do is a little loop and it goes back and continues on. when I come to add the track sensor for the train detection, I'll just cut that and use that as a power feed. So that's the first of the 5 feed points. That's a loop, 4 more, and then 1 is just the end. And this is the last wire to add for this cable bundle. Another loop, and then goes ready to continue. Bit of tape holds it all together, hopefully. I've made up the bundle with all the wires necessary. Just checked my notes just to make sure, but all is good. So we've got 2 track power feed wires, the slightly chubbier ones. We've got the 4 wires going to the signal. That's the negative return, yellow, green and red. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grey wires, which are the returns for the 5 track position sensors, or train position sensors along the track, and the brown looped single brown 5 volt feed wire. You see this black electrical tape? Can you guess what the 3rd stage is of the manufacture of this cable bundle? Yeah, wrap with electrical tape. It's tedious, takes a long time. I've only got about half an hour light left, so I won't finish it all tonight. But I don't start too far up here because taping it downwards means that it's very, very difficult to unwind from this end later. So what I do is I start here and then finish off working this way, which means I can unwind a bit back if I need to. So I'm going to start here and keep going. It's fiddly. Well, I've got more to do, and the light is going. It's not even halfway yet. Might not finish this job this evening. So I'll just do a little bit more as the light fades and catch up with you next time. Hope you've managed to follow along the series so far. More to go. But for the time being, I'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye for now.